In Pokemon Journeys, Ash Ketchum battled various Pokemon champions in order to become the strongest trainer in the world, including Iris, Cynthia, and of course Leon. During this series, however, there were champions he didn't battle, such as Lance and more notably Diantha. During the XY series, Ash battled Diantha on 2 different occasions, once with Pikachu and once with Greninja, but Ash never got a chance to battle her after mastering the Ash-Greninja form. Ash had a great opportunity to battle Diantha in Pokemon Journeys to see if he could beat her, but that didn't happen. Hey Pokemon champions, I'm Champion Blaze, and today we'll be constructing Ash's best team to use against Diantha if he did get a rematch with her. We'll take into account the Pokemon at Diantha's disposal and their typings, and then determine which lineup of Pokemon would give Ash the best chance at defeating her. But in order to create his strongest unit for her, I've brought on board my friend Niall to help me out.
Thank you to Blaze for having me on this great series. Ash vs Diantha was a real interesting one, as we've seen these trainers face off before, and I feel like this was a battle that we really should have seen again. So I hope you guys enjoy the team that we've put together for Ash to take down the Kalos Champ.
Thank you for joining me, bro. With that said, be sure to leave your team suggestions in the comments, and let's create Ash's best team for Diantha. Let's get started. When Diantha was first introduced in XY, the only Pokemon she was seen having was her ace Gardevoir, which was then shown to be capable of Mega Evolution. Diantha would go on to battle Ash twice, once with Pikachu where, although Ash put up a good fight, Pikachu was not strong enough to defeat Gardevoir. Then during their second battle, Ash would use Greninja as Diantha was intrigued by its power. It's worth mentioning that at this point in time, Ash and Greninja had not yet mastered the bond phenomenon, and Ash had only 7 badges. It's well known that Ash came very close to defeating Diantha with an imperfect Ash-Greninja, so had they not fainted and if the transformation was mastered, they most likely would have won.
But Diantha still has an entire team at her disposal. In Pokemon Journeys, it was revealed that her anime team was the same as her in-game team, consisting of Goodra, Howlucha, Tyrantrum, Aurorus, Gourgeist and Gardevoir. On paper, this is a pretty solid roster of Pokemon with a variety of typings.
We see firsthand how powerful Gardevoir is, we've seen how powerful Goodra and Howlucha can be thanks to Ash having them on his team, and I've personally used Tyrantrum in my playthrough of Pokemon Y, so I know it's a strong Pokemon. But the only one that truly got to shine was Gardevoir. In Pokemon Journeys, her entire team was disrespected by Leon sweeping most of her team with just his Rillaboom, so we only really know what her Gardevoir is capable of. But seeing as how Diantha showed up both in Pokemon XY and Journeys, I think it's only fitting that we make 2 teams this time around, as Ash's roster of available Pokemon changes a lot between these 2 series and will drastically change which Pokemon we use to help make his best team. We'll take into consideration their battling record, experience, and known moves to create these teams, so let's begin with Ash's best team in the XY series.
It's only fitting to kick off this XY team with the one and only Greninja. Of course, this Pokemon was going to make the team. It's Ash's ace in Kalos and one of his strongest Pokemon overall. Greninja will help massively in this battle, being the powerhouse to come in and go head to head with Diantha's own ace, Mega Gardevoir. With Ash's Battle Bond ability in play, we think that Greninja will be enough to get the finishing blow on Diantha, winning him this battle.
How do you follow up Greninja? With the ace of Ash's Sinnoh team, Infernape. Infernape gives the team access to fire and fighting, and these 2 types alone can handle Diantha's Tyrantrum, Aurorus, and Gourgeist, which takes care of half her team right there. Infernape has access to Fire Stab and Flamethrower and Flare Blitz, Fighting Stab with Mach Punch, and coverage with Dig. Infernape had some of the best growth and development out of all of Ash's Pokemon, and even among his aces. This Pokemon is the embodiment of Ash's never give up attitude, determination, and strength. Ash called upon Infernape during many gym battles such as against Fantina, Candace, and notably Volkner. Time and time again, Ash has put his faith in Chimchar as it evolved into Monferno and eventually Infernape. Infernape also has its powerful Blaze ability to give it some extra power that could help it go toe-to-toe with Diantha's Mega Gardevoir if need be. Infernape has overcome so many obstacles throughout Diamond and Pearl that its fiery spirit would no doubt be a great asset to Ash in his battle against Diantha. It's got a strong will not to be defeated easily and has been shown on numerous occasions defeating opponents it's normally weak to, and even taking hits from super effective moves pretty well. The strength of this Pokemon is undeniable and was the one who allowed Ash to win against Paul in the Sinnoh League quarterfinals and advance to the semifinals. There's no way Infernape wouldn't be on this team. After Infernape, let's take a look at another Sinnoh MVP, Gliscor. Gliscor is hands down the third best member to Ash's Sinnoh team. Gliscor adds the ground flying type to the team for more type coverage, also coming packed with the moves of Fire Fang, X Scissor, Stone Edge, and Giga Impact. It brings some pretty powerful moves to the team, which makes it able to handle battles against Diantha's Hawlucha, Aurorus, Gourgeist, and Gardevoir. That's over half the team. I gotta say, Gliscor has a good track record of appearing on these best teams and dealing damage to at least half of any given team. Gliscor also has many advantages in battle, such as its great evasiveness in battle with its aerial mobility that we saw firsthand in battles such as Ash's gym battle against Byron, or especially at the Sinnoh League against Paul. Let it be noted that Gliscor was the one who dealt the final blow to Paul's menacing Drapion when this monster swept half of Ash's team. So Gliscor is packed with some strong endurance, strength, and power. Its ground typing would make it immune to Gardevoir's Thunderbolt attack, and its only real threat to deal with would be Diantha's Aurorus with any ice type attack. Every other Pokemon would hit Gliscor for neutral damage, and its fighting spirit would be sure to pack a big punch against Diantha's team.
Next up we have Ash's first ever pseudo legendary that he caught in the Kalos region, Goodra. Goodra is a powerhouse for Ash that just came in and made a massive mark on that Kalos team, but I always feel it never got to live up to its potential, so seeing it in a huge battle like this against Diantha would be so awesome, especially as Diantha has her own Goodra to match, so we could even see them go up against each other. Goodra actually fares pretty well in this battle, being super effective of course against the other Goodra and being able to resist some of the main typings, but Goodra is mainly here for its power and also its coverage with Ice Beam. This thing will do quite a bit of damage to Diantha's team.
The penultimate member on our XY team is the beast behind the shades, Krookodile. Krookodile was Ash's best Pokemon on his Unova team, providing immense power, resilience, and endurance in many battles such as his gym battles against Skyla, Bryson, and even in the Unova League against Stefan. Krookodile has proven time and time again that it can come in clutch to pull out a victory for Ash. It's even defeated Iris's Dragonite, so it can hold its own against the pseudo-legendary as well. Its moveset is Dragon Claw, Stone Edge, Dig, and Aerial Ace, and if Ash really wanted, he could give it back the move Crunch instead. These moves allow it to easily deal with Diantha's Tyrantrum, Aurorus, Gourgeist, Hawlucha, Goodra, and Gardevoir if it knows Crunch, albeit with neutral damage. So that's nearly Diantha's entire team that Krookodile can deal super effective damage to. I love that Ash's two ground types on this team are huge MVPs here. It may be weak to any fighting attacks from Hawlucha, dragon attacks from Tyrantrum and Goodra, grass attacks from Gourgeist, or ice type attacks from Aurorus, but whoever Ash sends Krookodile out against, Krookodile will put in work against any opponent before going down. And the best part is that none of Diantha's attacking moves on her Gardevoir can touch Krookodile. Thunderbolt is ineffective, Psychic is ineffective, and Shadow Ball is only a little ineffective thanks to Dark Resisting Ghost, so Krookodile might just be Ash's best answer to Diantha's Gardevoir, considering it can barely touch Krookodile. There's no way we could leave this Pokemon off the team.
A few honourable mentions from me. Firstly, we have Muck, and you might tell me that all Muck does is smother Professor Oak and it only knows Body Slam and Sludge Bomb, so how the hell is it going to take down a champion? Well, that's a pretty good point, but Ash always used Muck in weird and wonderful ways, and it's one of them few poison types that he actually owns, so it really could come in as Ash's trademark gimmick Pokemon. And then we have Heracross, who we're finally going to let loose from Oak's lab after being stuck there all of Johto. Well, not really, because it's just an honourable mention, but this thing is strong, and would definitely give Diantha a problem. They couldn't quite make the team, but both deserved a mention. Finishing off this XY team, we have Ash's forgotten Hoenn Ice menace, Glalie. When looking back on Glalie's battling career, we realise that this thing was pretty damn underrated. Also, we all know how underused it is. It had some massive wins in the Hoenn League, taking down the likes of Charizard, Metang, and even getting a double knockout with Tyson's ace Sceptile. Glalie really was a beast in battle. Alright, its moveset isn't the greatest and it doesn't have much coverage, but it has everything it needs to completely wreck Diantha's team. It covers her Hawlucha, Tyrantrum, Goodra, and also her Gourgeist, so it does well against 4 out of 6 of her Pokemon. And if you give Ash a bit of prep time with Glalie to remember what a battle is, and it might do him some wonders here.
So it looks like Ash's best team in the XY series for Diantha is Greninja, Infernape, Gliscor, Krookodile, Goodra, and Glalie. We have 3 aces from 3 different teams, a powerful dragon, and 2 heavy hitters that will certainly give Diantha a run for her money. But you're probably wondering, where's Pikachu? Well, with this team, we decided to take a page out of Ash's book from the Johto League. Back during Ash's Johto League battle against Gary, Ash didn't use Pikachu against Gary. One of the few times Ash has opted out of using Pikachu against his rival, or in any league battle for that matter. So we figured it would be best to make the same choice here.
Pikachu's electric and normal moves don't really help all that much against Diantha's team as a whole. In XY it had Electro Ball, Thunderbolt, Quick Attack and Iron Tail. Now sure, Iron Tail is super effective against Gardevoir and Aurorus, but that's all we can really say about Pikachu here. Electro Ball and Thunderbolt are only neutral to Aurorus and Gardevoir and are resisted by Tyrantrum, Goodra and Gourgeist. These moves only deal super effective damage to her Howlucha. So while Pikachu is incredibly strong and can technically deal super effective damage to half her team, it's also resisted by half her team and not all of its moves help against the 3 Pokemon it does well against. So it's just better to leave Pikachu off this team despite its speed and power usually being advantageous.
Now that we've covered Ash's best team he could have used in XY against Diantha, let's see how our lineup would change if Ash battled Diantha in Pokemon Journeys. Will the team remain the same, or will multiple members be swapped out? Let's take a look.
Ash has quite a few more Pokemon added to his roster by the time of the Masters 8 in Pokemon Journeys. And although Ash didn't get the chance to battle Diantha in a rematch in this tournament, Ash had the tools to build a perfect unit to defeat her, should he have had the chance. Going into making the second team, only 2 Pokemon will remain on the roster from our previous team, that being Infernape and Crocodile.
Infernape and Crocodile are really the only members we felt were good enough candidates to bring to the Masters 8 tournament. Now that's not to discredit the abilities of Gliscor and Greninja, as they could very well hold their own against champion level Pokemon, but Infernape and Crocodile are just a bit better. Greninja is also still stuck on Vine cleanout duty, and Ash even left it in Kalos in Pokemon Journeys, so we know he didn't intend on bringing it to the Masters 8. Infernape's moves along with its Blaze ability would be excellent against Diantha, considering we're now losing out on Ash-Greninja. And Crocodile is still a major MVP considering, like I previously mentioned, Diantha's Gardevoir can barely touch Crocodile, and it can deal super effective damage to nearly Diantha's entire team. So we had to keep these 2 Pokemon. But with that said, what are the other 4 Pokemon that will comprise our new team?
This team is not complete without Ash's partner Pokemon, Pikachu. We left it out of the XY team, but it had to be on this one. When it came down to Journeys, Ash's Pikachu was by far his strongest Pokemon, having so many extraordinary feats, taking down so many incredible powerful Pokemon. It's Ash's Journeys ace and it will probably come through here against Diantha to get one of the finishing blows or maybe even take down her Gardevoir. And let's not forget it has an amazing Z move at its disposal, so I don't really need to convince anyone why Pikachu belongs in this team. We all know just how strong this Pokemon is.
The next member will be the first Pokemon Ash caught in Pokemon Journeys, being Dragonite. This internet-breaking dragon has incredible power that Ash would undoubtedly need to battle against Diantha. Just like Goodra in the Pirate team, Dragonite here gives us the Dragon typing, but now with the additional Flying typing to make up for Gliscor not being here as well. Dragonite comes into battle with Dragon Dance, Hurricane, Dragon Claw, and its signature Draco Meteor. Dragonite has put in so much work helping Ash to get to the Masters 8, being used in several battles, like notable ones being his battle against Iris in the Great class, and even before that battle in Karina and her Lucario in the normal class.
Dragonite is able to handle Diantha's Gourgeist, Howlucha, Tyrantrum and Goodra. Again, another Pokemon capable of handling more than half of Diantha's team. However, I must say that Dragonite has the possibility of struggling against these Pokemon as well, mainly Tyrantrum and Goodra, since they're both Dragon types also. It may also struggle with Gourgeist as well if it's turned into a Ghost type via Trick or Treat, and we definitely don't want to see Dragonite suffer the same fate as Lance's Gyarados.
Dragonite may have had a fall from grace during the later portion of Pokemon Journeys and even took an L against Cynthia's Spiritomb, but when it came to Leon, Dragonite put in the work and defeated Leon's Dragapult with his signature Dragonite Meteor finisher. This was the tactic that Ash developed when Paul helped him train for the Masters 8 back at Oak's lab. Ash's Dragonite may be a lovable goof who wants to hug everyone, but it's got a determined fighting spirit and can even use Ash's famous Counter Shield technique as shown in its battle against Iris's Haxorus. This makes it the only Pokemon on Ash's Journey team outside of Pikachu that's capable of using the Counter Shield technique, which is a huge defensive and offensive strategy for Ash. There's no way Dragonite was gonna sit this one out.
Next up, I feel like this team needs a Pokemon that brings that energy and gives off that aura. You all know who I'm talking about, it's Lucario. Lucario was huge for Ash in Journeys. From the moment we saw Ash connecting with this unhatched egg, we knew that these two would have a great bond through the countlessly teased aura. And finally we got it. It wasn't exactly perfect, but it still gave some massive growth for both Ash and Lucario would be a perfect fit in this team. For starters, it's really strong and one of the main reasons Ash has got this far in the Pokemon World Championship, and Lucario actually does great in this battle. It has super effective moves against Gardevoir and even Tyrantrum, and it's pretty good defensively, managing to resist a few of Diantha's typings, so I think Lucario would be the perfect fit in this team to really push Ash through and take down the Kalos Champ.
The final member of Ash's Journeys team is going to be Gengar. Ash's Soul Ghost type is a must for this team as we finally have a perfect counter to Diantha's Gardevoir, something we've been lacking this entire time. Now you could argue Pikachu is a perfect counter with its speed and Iron Tail, or even Crocodile with resisting Shadow Ball and being immune to 2 of its other moves, but Gengar can actually deal super effective damage with its own Shadow Ball and its high special attack. Gengar can also chip away at Gardevoir's stamina using Will-O-Wisp. Then it's got Sludge Bomb as well, and this can also poison, as well as Dazzling, which, while it wouldn't do much damage, could also serve to blind Gardevoir momentarily.
Gengar may be weak to Gardevoir's Psychic, but it's got 2 moves to deal super effective damage as well. It's almost a toss-up between Crocodile and Gengar. They could both be seen as the perfect counter to Diantha's Gardevoir, but Gengar has also proven itself like Dragonite many times prior to arriving at the Masters 8. It was used in the normal class against Visquez, displayed powerful strength against Falconer, went toe-to-toe with Marnie's Grimmsnarl, and even battled against Cynthia prior to Leon, and did damage against her Roserade and Spiritomb.
Gengar also gives Ash the option to Gigantamax in battle as well, and we all know how effectively he used this battle mechanic to battle against Marnie and Raihan in the Ultra class, and it would even go on to help him against Leon in the finals. Gengar is very powerful and would even be helpful in dealing with Diantha's own ghost type being Gourgeist. This iconic Kanto Pokemon had to be a part of this team. So Ash's Journeys team would be a powerful lineup consisting of Pikachu, Infernape, Crocodile, Dragonite, Gengar, and Lucario. 2 MVPs from the last team, with half of his Journeys team here, which is only fitting since these Pokemon give us the ability to Gigantamax and Mega Evolve with Gengar and Lucario respectively, and they were the Pokemon that helped Ash become the new World Champion. So we have one team if he battled Diantha again in XY, and one team if Ash had a chance to battle Diantha in Pokemon Journeys, and both would be absolute units for Ash to defeat Diantha. Thanks so much for watching, and subscribe for more Pokemon anime content like this. Again, a big thank you to my bro Niall for joining me today, and be sure to check out his channel with the link in the description. Special thank you to our channel members for their extra support, and with that said, remember to train hard, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.